Hello and welcome to Great Food. I have with me Ian Robertson from 801 Chophouse. Welcome, Ian.
Hello, Winnie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. Now, you know, it's pretty indisputable that 801 Chophouse does amazing steaks.
Yes.
I mean, in fact, one of my favorite things to eat there is your ribeye. It's just marbled and luscious and big and bold. It's a great dish. But you're going to show us another side of 801 that maybe people don't really think of right away.
And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this scallop dish is the fact that, yes, we have great steaks and it's undisputable that the steaks are beautiful, they're marbled, and they're cooked to temp. But one thing I wanted to kind of like highlight is the fact that we also get in a lot of really good fresh seafood. You know, we have a beautiful lobster tank with fresh lobsters. We get fish flown in from both East and West Coast, along with a lot of fresh oysters that we have on the menu. And people don't necessarily think of us as a seafood restaurant, but we actually do have quite a bit of really good seafood. And one of the things I'm going to show you here today is kind of how to put a real nice sear on your scallops, which is kind of hard for most people to do at the house, and something I think a lot of people would like to know how to do.
I'd love to know how to do it, so let's watch you. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because just on the I think one of the major food channels the other day was saying, do you know how to sear scallops? So it's kind of something people are talking about right now because there's a way to do it.
Yes, and it kind of all starts with having a real nice hot pan. You know, you want to bring your pan up to a point where it's nice and like smoking almost, but not to where it's too hot to where as soon as you scallop hits the pan, it's going to start to burn. Okay. But it will look like it's almost too hot to a normal person because they usually don't have their house pans getting as hot as they do. Okay,
interesting. So it's kind of maybe a little better to go a little too hot than a little too cool.
Yes,
maybe.
If you get too cool, then what will happen is they won't have that beautiful sear and that contact that you need to get from your scallops and the pan.
All right.
All right. So
how do you know your pan's hot enough? You just know.
Well, you'll see just a little wisp of like just light white smoke almost coming up, and that's when you know your pan's pretty much to a temperature you'd want. I mean, you could add in either olive oil. For me, I like to do mine in butter. Oh yeah. And stuff, and that butter will cool the pan down just ever so slightly. So you want to wait till it kind of comes back up to temp as well. All right, great. So what I like to do is just dab my scallops on just a little paper towel, or here I have a nice linen, and this will also kind of lift up that moisture that kind of prevents your scallops and other fish as well from sticking to it. You know, you just have a nice little bit of salt on it, and if you can see just ever so slightly, there's just a little bit of smoke coming up off of these pans.
I do see it from here, that's right. Great.
And then as you put the butter in, it will kind of cool the pan down, and we'll just let the butter kind of settle out, and then it will come back up to temperature, and that nice temperature in which we want. And so what we'll have is a lovely pan-seared scallop, and at the same time we're also going to do some lovely seared gnocchi as well. Both of them which have pretty much a similar technique, but you want to have that nice hot pan so that way you can initiate that beautiful sear that you're looking for.
Great.
I mean, as you see here, our butter is starting to get nice and brown, kind of like that beautiful nutty flavor. You see all that, quite a bit of smoke in the air as well. And then we have that beautiful sear that we start, as soon as it hits the pan, you get that beautiful sear starting to come with that.
Absolutely. Oh, and those scallops look so plump and big and bold and luscious.
We have the beautiful U10 scallops, which, if you're not familiar with some of your scallops, U10 is just the unit in which they come in. It's about 10 to a pound.
Oh, okay. So they're big. Yeah.
Yes, big, nice, plumpy scallops, and this is what most restaurants like to use. And then just over here, we're going to start searing off our beautiful gnocchi as well.
Right, and you make that in-house?
Yes, and the gnocchi we have here, we kind of change it up seasonally, but for the winter season, we have a nice wild mushroom gnocchi that we're going to do with our pan-seared scallops. Finish it with a little bit of truffle butter, and then a light cream sauce, some chives, and that will be our dish for today.
That is awesome. So is this on your menu regularly, or is this on the fresh sheet?
This is on our fresh sheet. We always have scallops on there. And then gnocchi, like I said, we always keep one on there that changes up with the lovely seasons. and
All
stuff.
right. So when you go to 801, you might not get this exact dish, but you have scallop. You always have scallops.
Always have scallops,
Right,
and then we
exactly.
have the lovely gnocchi up until springtime comes around, which we'll probably change it to something a bit more lighter.
Right, with
and
chives or fresh herbs or
Fresh
something.
herbs,
Right.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Great. Yum. Well, the fresh sheet is so interesting. You sit down and you get this great menu, and then you get what's called a fresh sheet, and you always have just kind of a great choice of fish and seafood, and like sometimes you have like not a clam bake, but a shellfish.
Lovely shellfish pan roast.
Pan roast, that's what it is, right? And that's always sounds so good.
Yes, you have your variety of shellfish in there, from your lobster, crab, scallops, mussels, and shrimp that kind of help make the whole dish come together. All of them beautifully seared, kind of like we're doing with our scallops here, kind of bringing out that nice flavor. And then we make a lovely pan sauce that we just kind of drape over the whole thing with some fresh cherry tomatoes and asparagus.
Oh, that sounds so good. Yes, exactly. I mean, I still find it hard not to order my ribeye, but maybe it's one of those things. 801 has such wonderfully big, generous portions that you basically, I like to kind of split things up with people, and you're very gracious about doing that.
And yeah, that's one thing that we like to try to get people to think. Some people think we're very expensive and stuff, but we offer half sides and even, split portions and stuff, and it's very nice. You can come in there, you get your ribeye, your husband could get the scallops. I mean, you guys can mix the two of them.
Exactly, surf and turf of our own way.
Surf and turf your own way.
Exactly. And then what I do like is you do let people split some of the sides, because your sides are amazing. Like the Brussels sprouts with the marmalade, and your hash browns are crazy good. And there's just so many really good sides. And so you want to get more than one, but if there's only going to be two of you, it's hard to. If you get the full size, it's just too much. So I love the fact that you now let people split those. That's
sides.
great. So we're kind of running out of time, but so let's show us how you finish this.
Okay. So what we have here is just our scallops. They're just finishing up real fast.
And that's some butter.
And this is just a little bit of truffle butter that we make in-house as well.
And that's got like an opulent truffle butter. Is that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Just a really nice one that we're doing. And then our scallops, we just nicely sear them on one side, and then what we're gonna do is just kind of flip them over, and then they can finish out in that pan just like that. It doesn't take hardly but a second. I like to put a little bit of butter in there, just kind of to finish it up.
Oh yeah, I love the way you knew exactly when to turn those, and that they're like this perfect brown, a golden brown, right? Just the way you'd want it.
Yeah. And then we're just gonna throw a little bit of chives in there. With our gnocchi, and then just sear it on one side, and then we have our beautiful sauce that kind of makes the dish.
Wait, did my mouth just water? Oh, I think it did. That looks so good.
And then we have our scallops that will just kind of help nicely place them around the dish, making it just a really beautiful, simple dish that you can do.
That is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I know what I'm having for lunch today.
You're welcome, Winnie.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.